Beautiful people, hope you guys are well. It's another day. I'm happy. I am in my it's just another day as a normal person. I I don't know. I'm happy to be here. Hope you guys are well, keeping things 24 and better than before. And yeah, let's get into this one. I'm single, okay? And single for like years. 2/3 years, if y'all want to get into the details without any free roaming and playing around. Let's just say 4 years, 5 years. That's just it. I'm just being honest, bro. And I like it. Being single as a Pringle is nice, but for how long? Like, how long are you gonna keep on being by yourself? I don't actually know, because I'm currently not looking, and I have not been looking. Yes, I do see people who interest me, like, okay. However, there's that little thing every single freaking time that's like, nah, turn back away. And if that thing doesn't exist, they do something that makes me turn away. You understand? And I get that. I get that, and I was like, oh, okay. So what if I take off the seatbelt and just drive the car without the seatbelt? Well, I mean, like, yes, security is something that I care about. However, not only for me, but also for the person that I'm gonna be with. I know we're still young. We are young. I mean, we all have those, let's not talk about lust, but let's talk about something that's rather simple. I don't know what love is, but let's just call it finding love. By the way, guys, this episode is being produced by somebody who doesn't qualify to be a therapist and who is not a therapist. I'm just speaking of the dome, and it's what I got. This episode was actually inspired by the fact that I'm single and I'm witnessing things out there, and they are kind of scary. They're like, what the flip is happening? And now I understand. I have a friend, she was like, yo, Dom, I'm not gonna date because have you seen what people are doing? And then with my, optimistic mindset, I was like, dude, don't let other people's relationship structure and situations depict what your relationship is gonna be like if you were ever gonna be in one. And then she's like, okay. And now I am her. I understand what she was talking about. Like, for real, bro. I'm not saying that people's situations are scaring me from being in relationships, but the way they handle situations and the way they just inflict pain on other people makes me want to be like, "Aye, guys, I raise my hand, I take off my underwear and raise it in the air." My underwear is white, by the way. And I'm waving it around. Like, what the flip is happening? As a bystander, I'm actually super cautious. Like, why is it that, like, I'm single, right? And when you look at people who are dating, I get so happy that they're dating because they actually have what I don't have. It's like, whoa, that is so cool. Y'all is doing your thing. Y'all is like, posting. Everything is all funny and mingly, and however, in the long run or in the shadows, you get to find out that these homies ain't happy with one another, or he's gonna do something or she's gonna do something, and then it becomes all turmoil. And yet in this episode, I'm gonna try my best not to speak about the problems, but how we can decrease the problems from happening. Because, like I said, I've been single for like a lot of years, bro. Like, bro, maybe, well, let's just say, well, okay, being honest, I think with my right hand on the Bible, I think I've been single for 2/3 years, and is there a difference being single compared to when I'm dating? No, like because well, there is slightly. However, like I prefer being single. However, you get to be too comfortable and you never know what is what. When you're single, you have this free roam whereby you're like, oh, I can talk to anyone. Oh, I can do this with a certain person. I'm not talking about hookup culture, no, but I'm just speaking from the basis of like, you don't have somebody on your phone or around you who's gonna always monitor you. Guti, are you talking to other girls? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Why did you text her? Why did you like her picture? No, I'm literally on my own. I'm living by my own terms, you know. And when you start dating, oh, okay, can I say this? When you start dating, which I don't know what dating is, according to how y'all behave, I don't know what it is anymore. So I'm just gonna leave dating out. So the moment you guys are in a romantic relationship, things should come in pairs, in sets. This is what I mean. Like, dude, I think that maybe we have forgotten that, like, the moment you're in a romantic relationship, it's not about the things you all do together, but it's how you guys do the things together and how you guys keep yourselves together. Because we have people who, like, they're like, yeah, I'm dating. Nakajola. However, like, 5 seconds later, that's the same dude or that's the same girl who gives other people attention, the same attention they should be giving to their romantic partner. Even partner today, that word is too strong for us because partner is a strong word, guys. So we all stop mokai mumjolong. Yeah, ifelamu. Literally mjolo. For my international listeners, bro, mjolo is like dating. I think that's the easiest I can put it. That's the easiest way I can put it. Like, dude, I feel like we can't reach higher stages of romantic relationships anymore because we don't understand what the flip it is. I know we are driven by emotions as human beings that like, ooh, I love him. Ooh, I love her. Ooh, she looks nice. Ooh, he looks handsome. But for what, dude? Like, you see, already your first basis is kind of wrong because already you want somebody for how they look, not who they actually are. So it's like driving a car that looks nice. However, you don't like the interior, you don't like the engine, you just like the compliments people give you because you're driving that car. Like, what the flip is happening? And as a bystander, it's kind of painful because that basis normally doesn't end well. It doesn't even begin well, because it's all about the looks. It's all about what he has, what she has. And that is something that I myself, as a bystander, it's painful to notice and watch. And I've heard stories, people tell me that, yo, man, boy, boy, this pretty hand, boy, pretty. But then I've never met a guy who says like they love their person for who they are. It's all about the externals. I know I am young, so there's no peer of mine that's gonna be like, dude, I love her for who she is and I wanna marry her. Marriage is even a humongous thing that people don't even think about today because marriage is seen as a curse. The saying of like, happy wife, happy life. People are doubting that, to the point of where they're like, dog, I don't want to get married because why should I? Why should I be committed to one person? And then you already know that your motives as a human being are not even on the right level, dude. Why would you be out there looking for someone knowing that it's only temporal? That's how you all get sick again. People are traumatized from the fact that they don't want to be committed. They don't want to, experience. Not that there's the real way of doing this because, like, dude, the year is 2026 and, dude, our ancestors have been living. Your great-great-grandfather could be the one who was playing all the girls in the village. You don't know. You get. And who am I to say that the right way according to, you date a girl, you all become committed, and then you all propose, and then you all get married is the right way. Well, it is the right way, but who said that it's gonna end in the rightest way possible? Nobody knows. But the people in the relationship know what needs to be done for them to be successful and happy in the relationship. Right? Or am I wrong? I stand to be corrected. And then moving on, the term relationship for me means a lot, because the word relation, relative, relation is a strong word. A word that is like, for me, I take it serious, guys. I don't know why. Relation. For me, it's so strong. Let me pull out my dictionary. Wait, hold up. But then before I do that, for me, relation means that two people have something they are related to, something that binds them both together, And today, it's like people are not binded by anything. Well, I don't know, but from what I've seen, it's like people are, they are just doing things, bro. Like, why are you doing something if it doesn't have a purpose? And I get that it's feelings. However, like, there's gotta be something that makes you value that person, and they should value you the same way. I stand to be corrected. So my dictionary says this. What is a relationship? Okay, my dictionary says a connection or association, the condition of being related. Well, that's like the basis of it. And then the next one says kinship, being related by blood or marriage. Okay, and then the fourth definition is like a romantic or sexual involvement. A way in then the other definition says a way in which two or more people behave and are involved with each other. I think that's the one that we can use. So I feel like we are moving in a movement. When I say we, I'm including myself, because I'm also human. I can make this episode and sound so perfect, but then, like I said, I've been out of the game and I've been watching how people move. And then when it's time for me to move, I'm worse than y'all. Who knows? I'm not perfect. Things happen. I could love a girl for the wrong reasons. And what could be those wrong reasons? How can you love somebody for the wrong reasons? It's whereby everything is about you. Everything is about what you benefit, what you get, and what she gives you, and what, how everything is just, guys, what is happening, dude? Like, I would like somebody, in the comment section, if you guys are, present there, I wish there could be a comment whereby somebody says that my relationship is going well and this is how I solve problems with my partner. That is something I would like to hear, because why is it the bad things are the ones that are being advertised about romantic relationships, but the good things are not being spoken of? And I still have hope that, yes, there are beautiful things happening in relationships, yet we don't see them. We don't see them broadcasted. And, it's questionable. Why is the bad things being highlighted to the point whereby it's a trend? It's nice to the fact that you are being toxic. It's a good thing. If you don't have female dogs in your life, I think I'm gonna be as euphemistic as possible. As a dude, the fact that you don't have female dogs in your life, she's not gonna take you serious. She's not gonna want you. And then the fact that she's not pretty, like, okay, let me not say it like that, but the fact that she is not moving in a way that is making her part of society, she's not for you, because you prefer a for the streets type of girl. I feel like also once you start a pattern in the way you mingle with other people and form relationships, that pattern is just gonna keep on repeating itself. And I think that this pattern has been repeating itself since way back in the day, boy. Maybe from high school or some shoot, whereby you thought that it was so cool to, rotate girls to the point whereby in your adulthood, that is what you do. It starts small, guys, and people get traumatized by that. This trauma, where does it come from? This trauma comes from, like, the fact that you had a certain experience. That experience is what you are so used to the point whereby you may think that it's right and then you repeat it. Or the other option is it has repeated itself so many times that you are scared of even diving into the pool again. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you, because people out there are just, I don't know, they're doing things for the wrong reasons. And I have a contradiction and I stand by it. I feel like if everyone were to not date to marry, but they would want to know somebody so much that they want to see themselves committed to this person. I'm not talking about that commitment of like your co-inhabit and what is the right word? Fatten said, but then there's another word for it. Co-inhabit, but then no, there's a word for that. Y'all do that without even getting married, and then y'all have kids without getting married. I feel like marriage is security. Because marriage on its own, yes, that's another topic. And I'm not married. I mean, I'm 6 feet under, guys. I'm not even dating. However, what I've seen is that marriage has security. Because we have couples who they co-inhabit, right? And then everything seems to be going right. They co-inhabit, everything becomes fine. Then they have a child, and then boom, boom, boom. And then to only find out that they want to split apart and they want to be only connected only by the child. Bruh. The child notices these things and then it affects the child, But then in marriage, the same thing can happen. Same scenario, but this time they're married. That marriage acts as a security. And marriage, for some reason, I don't know, but then for me, it's something that I see as valuable. I stand to be corrected, like I said. And then moving on to the next segment that I want to talk about. My understanding of relationships as a bystander in today's time. People are doing things the way they want to do things. I don't know why or how, but people are just doing things just for the sake of doing them. They are moving in a certain pattern that is, what is the right word? Accepted by society. I don't know, guys. Today my words are just, they're limited, and that is so wrong and sad at the same time. I don't know how people spend their own precious time with somebody else. And by the way, somebody sometimes has to sacrifice their own time and schedule for somebody else to only find out that that somebody doesn't even value them. What is going on? Literally, like, guys, what is happening? But then the good thing about romantic relationships that I've witnessed as a bystander is that, I'm single, and I'm outside of the relationship. And what I see is something that's, I don't know, man, it looks peaceful. You have somebody that you can emotionally talk to. They are like your other half. And that is something that's beautiful. Oh, and I forgot to mention this in the definition of a relationship for me. I feel like every relationship is like a boat. It's like a, what is that thing, like, that boat that people row, they row. I feel like every single relationship is like that. No matter what type of relationship you have, it is like that. And the moment somebody rows the opposite direction to where you're rowing, y'all is not getting anywhere. And that's how I see relationships in today's time. Everybody is just, people don't agree with one another. I don't know how they came to agree in the first place. People are just going the opposite way. They are just doing their own thing. They never take the time to reconcile and understand their partner in crime. Let me just say that. They don't. It's all about me. Not about us. And that is like, what the flip is happening? That's another bad thing. So what about problems within a relationship? Why is reconciliation one of the hardest things ever? As a bystander, I stand to be corrected. People are just doing things. Like, problems are not reconciled. Problems are seen as fun in relationships instead of being an obstacle to find a solution. Well, I myself testify that yes, I have a problem. The moment there's a problem in my relationship, back then, I would just move on with my life. I would be like, okay, sharp, you know what? I don't want to be part of this. I'm leaving. Yet now, in today's time, I'm more of like, okay, let's try to sort it out maturely as partners. Let's try to sort it out. Let's find a way forward. What are you struggling with? Learn to have imperfection for your partner. Like, dude, people, I don't know. Maybe it's also a me thing. Né? I feel like the more you put a curriculum for your partner, the more you're suppressing them to the point whereby they never get to be themselves. And the moment they become themselves, that's a problem, right? And then now you cannot even give them the space and the freedom for them to be themselves and express themselves and sort out the problem the way they would do, because now they are themselves. Because you gave them a curriculum and then they're like, oh, this is the curriculum for me to be with you. Okay, cool. Let's do that. But then where's the space that I need to show you who I am? People are just doing things, guys. And that is what the flip is happening, and people are not themselves in relationships from the beginning. You only see it when you guys are in turmoil. You're like, oh, flip. Since I'm in this situation, he decided or she decided to do things this way, and according to the curriculum, so why chop? Or you treat them badly, or you go out there and look for something else, and it's sad, man. It's a painful thing. Like, guys, I think that before, in the dating stages, it's good to have, a type, quote unquote. But then how long is that type, or is that type gonna exist for you? Because I have this saying that I keep on repeating to myself, that the moment you go out there telling yourself that you're gonna make a friend today, you're not gonna make a friend. The day you are like, I'm just chilling, chilling, I'm at the park or I'm at the library, and then you see somebody, you're like, hey, yo, dog. Like, friendships are made when you don't plan them. I think the same thing happens with romantic relationships or relationships in general. The moment you tell yourself that I want somebody that's like this, how like this, how like this, how like this. Dude, I have a question for you. How many friends have you given a curriculum for them to be your friend? No, I think that that's the same thing that should be applied, for the fact that your type of friends. You know it because, like, you allow somebody to be themselves, and that's when you're like, oh, he smokes, oh, he vapes, oh, he drinks, oh, he runs, he goes to the gym. You get to pick out these things and be like, okay, sharp, he does these things because it's who he is. Yet I don't do those things, so you have the right to choose if you stay with them. Why? Because you have seen who they are. In romantic relationships, somebody can just act how they are, and then all of a sudden when they show their true skin, you're like, I don't know this person. Why? Because they were trying to impress you. And why they have planned, they're like, this is how it's gonna be. And guys, people are not themselves in relationships, and it's sad. As a bystander who stands to be corrected, I see these things and I'm like, dang bro, and it's sad. Another thing that I learned, what did I learn? End of the year 2025. I learned this, this is a thing that, it contributes to cheating, and I hate it. I freaking hate it so much because cheating is like the worst betrayals ever made in life. I mean, cheating has been a part of this life since our great grandfather's uncle of another uncle of father. Cheating is a painful thing, guys. Like, you as the receiver as the victim of cheating, it's painful. I don't care if, like, you are a celebrity, you're on the highest level, you are the richest dude, it hurts. It does, period. And communication is the most important thing in relationships. And I think in the long run, you are so human that you are human. We are all human. I'm human. Yet communication lacks. I'm not saying that there's a perfect relationship out there, yet there's a way to maintain a relationship, So the moment you all forget to communicate, I think that's when the cheating starts. Hear me out. Let's say, you and your partner like a certain way of doing things, and then, you no longer do those things. she will feel it or he will feel it, and then somehow, some way, somebody from the outside will do that, and then he's like, oh damn, I feel noticed, I feel a certain way. So why? Yeah, let me just have a little campsite with this person on the side. And then what happens? Things happen, cheating happens, and then boom, people are heartbroken, everything goes down to shambles. That's just how it is. Lack of communication. And also, how things work. By the way, guys, I stand to be corrected. There's a lot of things regarding this topic, and I'm trying to be as brief as possible. I think that last year what I learned, finally the lesson. Oh my gosh. I have to stop going around the bush or beating around the bush. I learned this, especially with women. You can do 90% of the things right, and then 10% you get it wrong. To her, it's vice versa. 90% you got it wrong, 10% you got it right. That's how, I'm not saying that's how they work, but then that's how it feels and looks like with females. And then with us guys, I don't know. We cheat because I don't know why. I don't have the right motives. I don't have the right excuses for us guys. But then with females is what I noticed. I'm like, bro, you left a good guy at home just to please somebody for a temporal moment because your guy at home is doing 1, 2, 3 and you never communicated it with them. So then now you leave him for this dude, and then it becomes shambles, and when things are bad, you act all innocent. That is so sad. I don't stand for that, and I'm just gonna try to end this on a positive note. The possibilities of a good relationship, guys. Dude, there's nothing more beautiful than love. I don't know what love is, but then me saying that feels right. There's no such, there's nothing that is more prettier than love. For the fact that, in a world that is full of turmoil, there's a lot of things going on this earth, and then you still have the opportunity to come back home to somebody who loves you for who you really, really are, and they are able to be there for you and hold you by the hand, cuddle with you, play with you, tug of war and type ish. That is the prettiest thing and most peaceful thing I think all human beings are meant to experience. Just that it never happens. I don't know why, but then it doesn't. It's these little things, the little noises that happen outside of the relationship that puts that relationship in turmoil. And it's sad. It's freaking sad. And you are human. That's another thing. The fact that we are all human and things happen, they will happen. You are imperfect, my guy. I'm imperfect. But hey, what can we say? To end this on a positive note, girls, just because a guy is not wearing shoes that match on the first date doesn't make him your type. Well, you have the right to be picky, but then what if you wore those 2 unmatching shoes by mistake and you make it a huge problem, and then bah. And then as well as us guys, we should, I'm challenging us guys to look at a girl from within, not from the outside. And then you'll be surprised. That's the thing that I've been practicing in my singlehood, and you'll be surprised. So many girls are pretty, however, inside there's something that's it's not matching with me, and that's why I'm single. Literally, that's why. And yeah, man, I'm not trying to be picky, but then once my soul or spirit doesn't match, or it literally refrains, and once my spirit refrains, it means that I'm gonna be fake, because I'm not gonna be myself, because my spirit is who I really am. My spirit needs my soul, or my soul needs my spirit, and if one of them are lacking, you're gonna get the most counterfeit version of Dom. And I don't want that for anybody, because I respect everybody as I respect myself, and this episode is just here to inspire us to become better human beings and love one another, whether it's friendships, family ships, romantic relationships. Guys, let's all love one another. Push it forward like that, But then, hey, I'm so glad that I said all of this, man. I feel like this weight has been removed. But then, yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Be 24 and be better than B4, bro. I'm being for real, my sister, my brother. Say it with me, bro. Be 24 and be better than B4, and yeah. Catch you guys on the next episode. Happy Wednesday, happy new day. I don't know what's happening on your side, bro. Do you be yourself? Don't change, but be better. B24, be better than B4, and yeah. Catch you guys on the next episode, and I'm out.